This week on Stories Untold, we focus on cancer and mental health. Gail came to South Africa to pursue medicine. Though things did not go exactly as she had planned, her life trajectory still kept her in a space where she cares for people.
I came to South Africa right after my matric year for university. The reason why my parents wanted me to come this side is because we had some political issues in the Democratic Republic of Congo. There was war, and it was better for us to go and do our tertiary studies elsewhere, and eventually, if we wanted to, at some point in our lives, return. That's how I ended up coming and studying in South Africa. And I studied clinical technology. Wow. At Tshwane University of Technology. The reason why I did clinical technology, initially I wanted to do medicine. And when I arrived, I was asked to redo the matric year because they couldn't convert my matric results from the Democratic Republic of Congo towards medical school here. There was no way I was going to repeat that. That was the toughest year of my life, and I was not going to redo it for anything on earth. So I found out that if I did clinical technology and finished the degree, I could actually end up branching into medicine. That's what I did. I studied clinical technology and I found my love in there. And I decided I was not going back to medicine.
It was not easy for Gail to settle in when she first arrived in South Africa.
Tertiary life, I must say the first year was quite hard for me. I found it very difficult to fit in because a lot of times I found that I had the right color but I spoke the wrong language. First of all, I was learning how to speak English. I was coming from French. So I already had an English language barrier. Then you add to it the fact that I couldn't speak the African languages locally. So that was an extra barrier that I had. So the first year was quite difficult, but I found that I actually did best in my studies in the first year because most of the time what I did was study and go to church. And I would actually literally study with a dictionary because I only had about 2 months of English classes before university had to start, and I was not going to lose a year just to go and learn English. So I studied with my dictionary next to me. I spent a lot of time doing that. Eventually, when the language started to come, I started to be able to mingle with people.
In her 20s, Gail opened her first dialysis practice. 8 years on, she still can't get used to the pain and mental strain her job brings.
So we're running a dialysis unit. This is for patients with kidney failure. And this is a passion of mine. From childhood, actually, I spent a lot of time in hospitals, just going visiting people. If I found out that somebody was sick, as a 7, 8 year old, I would ask if we could just go visit the person. So I've always had this passion to care for people, and I've taken it along with me, and that's how we opened the dialysis unit. We've got a second one in Thohoyandou, which I did a partnership with one of my good friends who I met on campus.
In this month of breast cancer awareness, Gail shares with us nuggets on how women can better take care of themselves to avoid and/or fight cancer.
You know, the word cancer itself is very scary. That's a reality. So as people, when you hear that, you tend to want to move away from it because you do not want anything that will associate you with that. But it's very important as women that we understand that this is an issue that touches a lot of people. And if it is picked up early, there are higher chances of you getting treatment and you recovering from it. So it's very important that women get to understand and know what are the signs that they need to look out for. There are very simple checks that you can do for yourself to check your breast, which is, we're talking about Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It's like circular movement that you do around the breast to try and feel if there's any lumps. Those lumps don't hurt, but you can feel that there's something different. And if you pick up anything untoward, then you go to your doctor and get checked. And there's high chances that it can be cured at that point in time. If we do not check ourselves and we only get picked up by the time that it's late, that's when things become fatal. So women need to know that they actually should get checked. We need to look after ourselves. We don't just talk about breast cancer, there are so many other things that plague us as women. How often do we actually go to a gynecologist as a woman? We should have a check at least once a year, right? Get your pap smear done. If you are over the age of 40, you need to have a mammogram done at least once a year. Many medical aids will offer it for free actually, because they don't want you to get to the point where you have to get treated with chemotherapy or any of those harsh treatments. So as women, we actually need to make sure that we get checked. Check yourself first. Get instructions on how to do that. You can do it. You do it from your house, in your shower yourself, and you get to know your body so that you know if there's something abnormal on that front. I have seen many forms of cancer being in the medical field, not just breast cancer, and I have seen how bad cancer can treat us actually if we don't prevent it or if we don't stop it early. And the ills and the pain that comes with dealing with that is actually quite big. Yeah. And people don't know that they should go and get checked on a yearly basis, what they should do to be able to manage that diabetes, what they should do to be able to manage the high blood pressure. And as a result, they end up with kidney failure. And you end up on dialysis. I always say it's not a life that I would want for anybody, because literally we take away your life. It's 4 hours of treatment 3 times a week. It's not only 4 hours. You need to count your driving time to the dialysis center. The time that you get on the machine itself is just 4 hours. You've got a connection time and ending time. That's about 4.5 hours already. If it took you an hour to drive to your dialysis center, you're on what, 5.5 hours. If it takes you an hour to go back, 6.5 hours, maybe 7 hours of your day, depending on how far you are from your treatment center.
Not only does this mother, wife, and entrepreneur run the dialysis practice, she also runs the GM Anchor Group.
We've got GM Anchor Group, which is a conglomerate where we've put all the other businesses that I do, like my mom, I told you, who was doing everything else. So anything else that we did, we combined it into this business to be able to offer the services in a structured way. So we offer IT services, and with the IT services, we do custom software development or website development. It'll be dependent on what the client's needs are. We have a PR and marketing side to it, where we actually manage social media accounts for different clients. We have an event management as well, and the event management team will do corporate event management.
In light of mental health awareness, Gail opened up about how she manages mental wellness, both for herself and her staff.
So it's a very important question that you're asking, and I'm going to take you back to my first heartache in dialysis. So we get to meet these patients 3 times a week. I see them more than I see my family. My sisters, my brothers, I don't see them that often unless they live in the same house with me. So you've got, whether you like it or not, you remain professional, but there's this bond created. And the patient is diagnosed with colon cancer, and things run very fast. And within the space of about 4 weeks, we are told she has only about 4 weeks to live. So she starts preparing herself literally in front of our eyes, preparing to go. I'm closing all my accounts. I'm stopping all of this. I'm stopping all of that, to the point where she says, "No, I'm actually going to stop dialysis from now on." And she's saying goodbye to us. Needs little shoes and things. But I wasn't married yet, planning my wedding then. She needs little booties for my kids. She's like, "When you have kids, I will not be around." There were 2 of us in the dialysis unit. She needs stuff for us. This was the most painful experience for me, I must tell you. You have to watch somebody and you have to say goodbye, and you have to remain a healthcare worker and try to detach from the situation. I realized the importance of getting debriefing. We actually had to call in a psychologist, and we had to go for sessions for us to be able to accept this experience. Now, this is the first one that I get. Then you get to the point where, as a healthcare provider, there will be instances where you would actually have somebody pass away in front of you. It may seem like it's just something that happens, but it's a real life, and we feel it. You know, you feel that adrenaline rush, and you try to do everything you can to be able to save this life. And whether things go right or wrong, it affects you mentally. So we have this culture where we actually make sure that everybody is fine after an episode like that. And whoever is not fine needs to be seen. We need to seek external treatment for them. And we'll keep checking on everybody. So once we have a traumatic experience like that within the work environment, we don't take it lightly. You don't think that this person has gone through it 100 times so they are fine. At the end of the day, we still remain human beings. We still have feelings, and we look at it like we tried, we did everything we could, but we couldn't save this person. Or even if we've said the person, this was too traumatic, and you know, the experience remains with you. So we actually don't keep it to ourselves. We have a debriefing within the team, and we make sure that we have a professional actually come in and deal with whoever may need extra help, because we realize that this can impact you both professionally, emotionally, and it can impact your family and your whole well-being. So with my employees now, remember I have employees in a few different fields, so they would also deal with things in a different way depending on their personality and depending on the field in which they are working. But one of the things that I usually do is I'll pull each aside and ask them, how you're doing. And a lot of time when I ask that question, I'll get, oh yeah, I've been able to do this and and I would pause and say, how are you doing? So right now we're not talking about work, we're talking about you, the person. How you doing? How you coping? So let's forget about work for a moment and let's look at the person. So every now and then I have moments. I don't do that every single day, but I do take time to actually make them pause and realize that we are human beings here. I understand that you are a human being. Even when we discuss targets, you know, or we want to improve in a certain area in the business, I always tell them, don't just look at improvement within the business, look at improvement for you as a person as well. How is it that you are improving yourself as a person? Because at the end of the day, you're not going to be with me forever. And I hope that this journey that you are going to take with me is going to be a journey that is going to be enriching. The last thing that I want is for them to be broken down by the time they leave me.
Gail believes in the importance of taking time off to breathe and smell the flowers, whether it is making time with like-minded friends or alone time.
On a more personal note, I do take a lot of time with my female friends, and we take some time together to attend conferences, to uplift each other in whatever it is that we are doing. You know, we go through different challenges in life.
Her friend Angelique shed the light on how they distress from work.
I mean, we like working, business women. We want to show people that we can do it. We work 200% more than others, but we need to take breaks. We need to make sure that it shouldn't be something that in a year you work and once you stop. You have to make sure, what are those things that source you back? What are those things that make you understand that this is not only for me, this is something for the whole women. So the whole women community, you have to make sure, for example, we try our best, myself and Gail, to look at conferences that will source us, that will show us that you are not alone and the purpose that you are going through is for a bigger a goal than you have.
Busi met Gail during her dad's dialysis treatment at Gail's practice, and the two became friends.
What attracted me to her was the role that she was playing, the position that she held. She was working closely with doctors to get, as soon as patients are diagnosed or the patients that are at risk of developing kidney failure, they were referred to her first, and she worked closely with the doctors to educate them on the disease and then see if they can stop the progression or even delay the progression of the kidney disease. So I liked what she was doing. And she had also given education to my dad because he was also diagnosed with chronic kidney disease.
These two friends have seen each other through highs and lows, yet still remain positive.
Oh, Gail, you have done it, girl. I have seen you emerge after the worst situations, especially when one of the units had to be closed down because of riots and looting. But how she emerges after the whole, it's amazing. So I would say keep the positive spirit that you have. Focus on the positivity as you do. Keep on trusting your God. You have seen Him come through for you. And keep focused. Keep on dreaming. Keep the gratitude journal, and you are going far.
This determined woman, who is also a motivational speaker, believes so much in mental health awareness that she advocates for it during her seminars. Stories Untold was part of Gail's mental health awareness table talk.
This is for us a time to actually just open up the subject and talk about it. I want all of you to feel free and consider this as a safe space as well, where we can talk about the real things that we deal with in life. So this is not a glamour show for us to be able to look as if we always have everything together, but it's an opportunity for us to share what we go through and how do we actually cope in life. And I would like all of you to feel free to talk about what is it that mental health means to you, and what is it that you do to be able to help yourself, and how is it that you keep yourself in check. I think it's fitting for me to start with myself. It's going to help you all to be able to feel free and open up. Do I believe that I go through mental health challenges at certain points in my life? Yes, I definitely do. And I think acknowledging that is the key to finding a solution to it. If I've been through highs and lows in my life, I've been through a lot of them. And I think I started finding joy in realizing that there is actually help out there.
The guests at this event really used this as a platform to open up.
Take a deep breath, look inside, and answer the question, how am I really? How am I doing really? So I'll start. I will say I am fine. The answer can be complex. That's how I am, and I'll say how it looks to me. I am fine. I'm transitioning. That's how I am. I am fine. At the same time, there are certain things that's happening in my life that is taking me into the journey of transition. I feel like I'm a caterpillar becoming a butterfly. Beautiful experience, but not the most comfortable one in the process. So I am fine, yet I'm transitioning.
I am so tired, I am drained, especially being the firstborn of a family with different business and a full-time job, and siblings that look up to you, people who look up to you. Then you're like, whoa, it's hard, it's tiring. But then I believe it's all part of growth. The process may be difficult and hard to bear, but you just have to make peace with it. You just have to adapt. And so I won't say that I'm totally fine. I'll just say that I'm getting there. And then each and every day is like a learning curve for me, whereby I stop and pause, I reflect, I journal, I have time to smell the flowers and go out, like try to have different hobbies just to calm myself, because it's pointless to shut yourself down. It's better to also go on a self-journey, discovery, if that makes sense. So, yeah.
How am I doing? The reality is I'm fine in certain areas and I'm not fine in other areas, because there are many facets to my life. There's me, the person, myself. There's me, the wife. There's me, the mother. There's me, the sister. There's me, the business owner. There's me, the manager, there's me, the friend, there's me. So there's like so many different facets of you as a person, as a human being, and I'm learning to recognize that so that one area doesn't drop everything else in your life.
As Africans, we lived in an era where mental health, was a taboo. Mental health was always associated with other things, and it was never accepted as a disease like all other diseases. And I think, when we have such awareness days and times, it actually makes us come back and contextualize what mental health means in our communities. We grew up in villages, we grew up in towns where we continuously see people, wasted away in the streets, and it's like, oh, they're just, it's not regarded as a disease. It's like we sort of like sideline it.
Asked how she manages all that she does, Gail responded in this way.
To me, what I see it as is being a juggler in training with an audience actually watching. Now, this is motherhood, this is business, and this will represent anything else that I have in my life. I'm married, I have a family, I have siblings, I have a lot of other things that I have to deal with. But we put it aside for now. So we start, and remember, I'm a juggler in training, so sometimes things like this will happen. And when this happened, it's something like I forgot to attend a meeting, a very important meeting. The reason why I forgot it is because I was up the whole night breastfeeding my infant. Now, this is good for my child because the child was attended to, but the meeting, it means I may have lost some business and something else happens. Again, I forgot to pick up my child on time because I was in the middle of a board meeting, which was a very important one. Now, this is good for business because we managed to finish the board meeting, but on the other hand, my child suffered because mommy wasn't there. And notice what I do, I don't fall with the ball. I pick it up and I keep going. Because if I fall, then everything falls apart. Sometimes being in the medical field, you are actually stuck with a life that you have to save. So these are the difficult choices that we make while you're moving around with motherhood and entrepreneurship. Sometimes things will fall and you don't fall with them. You just go and pick it up and keep going. And you remember that the balance is actually in the movement. So it's never gonna be stable like this. It's always going to be moving, and something will fall, you will go and pick it up.
In light of Mental Health Awareness Month, we at Stories Untold urge people to take care of their mental wellness.